Don't try to sleep with the DM for free resurrections. No comment. Here's the sitch. So this post got spread around on Twitter very recently, and I tried to go back to find the original Reddit post. Yeah, I don't like this either. I went to go back to find the original Reddit post, and they deleted it. They have deleted the original Reddit post. However, thankfully, Tiffany Tiefling has all 3 screenshots of all the rules put together. We're gonna walk through these one by one, and I know this is gonna sound really stupid, but it doesn't end the way you think it does. Let's begin here, okay? My DM laid out the 44 rules for D&D. My DM just posted this after a hiatus. Enjoy. I'll just put this shit out now that's going to change before anyone goes through with anything, okay? 1. Timing of turns. I don't give a f if it's unfair in your opinion, because your spells are hard or you don't know what square to move to. You get 1 minute to know all the actions you want to take, or I skip your turn. 2. If you want a harder fight, bring a second character sheet and expect to twiddle your thumbs when you die. I'm not going to baby anymore. 3. If you call me or my rules unfair, I'll get up and go home. And if you got a ride with me, you can find your own way back and suck it up. 4. I'm going to take your character's loot away as regularly as you want it given out. Rule 3 will apply here. 5. If you don't act out any of your persuasion or intimidation or any other social checks, you fail. Before you even roll, you fail immediately because you aren't even trying and you're making the game lame for everyone else, okay? This comes off as a game that's absolutely done with it all? Possibly. So, 5 rules initially, okay? Timing of turns, that's a thing. I've had some parties where a guy takes like 20 minutes to figure out what he's doing on his turn. I've had to time turns before. It's a thing that unfortunately happens, but I can't blame them for wanting to speed up the game because combat in D&D is very, very slow. See the Black Pits we had Saturday, where the first round of combat took 3 hours, or the first round of the first fight took 3 hours. If you're wanting harder fights, you bring a second character sheet. I've told my party, okay? Don't ever tell me that was too easy, because next time it won't be easy. Because I don't want to kill you outside of a pivotal story moment, not because you started a fight with a barkeep and now you're getting just dicked on by the dice. If you call me and my rules unfair, I'll get up and go home. Yeah, don't blame the DM for what the dice roll. Just don't do it. Especially if he's open rolling, that means he's trying to be honest with you. Don't do it, okay? 4. I'm going to take your character's loot away as regularly as you want it given out. That one's a bit weird, but it's one I'm going to save for later, okay? And if you don't act out any of your persuasion or intimidation or any other social checks, you fail before you even roll. Most of these are super reasonable, it's just the tone it's the tone. The tone is the one thing that people have been pissed off with this about, and I'll get to that shortly. Then again, this guy looks so dumb that he should just stop playing D&D with these people altogether. Yes. I think he should already before we get too far. The way I rule for, like, diplomacy in my games, okay, is every character typically has a DC that is set if the players just walk up and proclaim something, right? Like, if you go up to the... Stealing from Lord of the Rings Online, which I've been playing recently. If you go up to the captain of the guard and say, hey, your second in command is working with the bandits and they're gonna burn down the town, that sounds really fucking stupid, doesn't it? Especially if you're a stranger. If you just walk up to a guy and say, hey, the man you trust most in your life, he's gonna betray you. That sounds really fucking sus, honestly. And pretty much every piece of evidence and every bit of good roleplay the player brings to that engagement lowers the DC. Sometimes to the point where they don't need to roll at all anymore. Like, I've had players make such good arguments, I don't see the need for them to roll. and it happens. I think it's good. I actually do encourage a lot of, like, if I'm not gonna have you just roll persuasion and then I make up whatever dialogue happens. I'm not gonna do that. I expect you to at least say something. Say anything. Then I would like to roll persuasion. If you don't pick up cues for side quests, that's not my problem. Get over yourself, it's not a video game. It's a role-playing, pen and paper based game with miniatures. I'm not holding your hand if you choose not to pursue shit. Correct. I mean, we're playing at a theater. You gotta at least talk a bit. There are people who are spectator players, which is a whole other dynamic I'll probably do a video on later. I have a whole thing talking about, like, spectator players and companion players and, you know, all that kind of stuff. People who just want to be there for the story, and they are perfectly fine. I just need to know that they're a spectator player before I deviate attention to them, right? Our DM is usually at least what you want to describe and what you want to bring up. You don't have to have your first-person speech for it. True. Don't worry, I'm coming back to some of these points. 7. If you move to a square in combat, there are no takebacks. 50-50. Depends on how well you describe what the hell they're doing. 8. You tell every single person what you're doing before you do it, and you don't dice, and then say you're casting Fireball. You tell us all. True. People might have Counterspell. They might suggest otherwise. They might, there might be other, instances, like you're in an anti-magic field and you don't know it yet. I will give out exhaustion more frequently. If you argue, go home, or you can actually fight me over it, or you can DM yourself. Again, that's a line I'm going to come back to later. Every snide comment you make to an NPC will be remembered and paid back in triplicate. You all seem to believe there is little consequence. I have had players who forget that they're level 2, and don't have the right to sass every NPC they come across. I have had those players who forget that their character isn't God, and they can't just talk down and belittle everyone in their way, because if you do that in real life, you get punched. Like, someone's eventually gonna punch you. That's just how it is. Someone's eventually not gonna take your shit, and you're gonna get hurt for it. So, paid back in triplicate. Okay, that sounds a bit excessive, Edgelord, but it's a fair response. You will not be given a mega dungeon every session. A temple is not the size of a small city, neither is a cave. This will happen when it's natural and organic. Go play some roguelike if you want that. Yeah, my dungeons typically aren't bigger than, like, 7 rooms at a time. 11 is very personal. It's very... a lot of these are personal. 12. The traveling portion is done. You want to travel continents doing literally whatever you want, go for it. Go play World of Warcraft or play D&D with ChatGPT. It sucks. That sucks when the players just keep upping and leaving a town every session and you prepare. Like, that's why I hardly prepare. If a player goes, I have so much, like, basic details that I'm ready for players to go anywhere. But I'm never ready for them to stay for longer than, like, 2 sessions, because they always like to just pick up and fucking leave all the time. If you're late for no good reason, I'm gonna have your character's hit points for the entire session. Yeah, you're not the... Yeah, we'll see. But a lot of these apply to a lot of tables. I can see myself using 10. Some of my players like equipping NPCs too much to the point where I feel like this NPC doesn't like you and doesn't want to deal with you anymore. Yeah, no, they just like, I'm not gonna deal with you. You're not worth my time. I can just choose not to interact with you, much as you can choose not to interact with them. That's just how it be. If you don't show up for no good reason, and that will be determined by me alone if no one else has the guts to say shit for fear of upsetting one another. The first time you'll find yourself losing either a whole level or up to 3 major items of your own. The second time you do in a row, you'll be removed from the chat and the group full stop. I have no time for people not showing up. I've done that. I've not like the D-level character, but I've just killed characters off if the player doesn't show up 3 sessions in a row. Like, if they just don't feel like showing up, I'm not going to keep your character around. 13 is trying to discipline real-ass people with in-game consequences, which I personally always find a bit... It is immature. It is very much immature. 15. If you get too stoned or drunk to play, I will go home without warning. Your warning is here. Yeah, no. I'm not really big into drug consumption at the end of the day. I don't like dealing with people who constantly feel the need to be high or drink, and it's not fun to be around intoxicated people unless everyone in the room is intoxicated. Like, if 5 people are getting drunk, it's a great time. If there's 5 people and one of them is getting drunk, that's not a fun time. You know what I mean? If you get up for a bong or smoke, that it's pretty much the same as 15. To be honest, I would be there to play D&D, not be stoned with friends the whole time. Exactly. 17. Guidance, divination spell, owls, and whatever spells are decided too stupid or banned outright. No more guidance. Okay, that's get over yourself. 18. You get 1 chance at a skill check. If you up, your party doesn't get a chance to do the same check. Think carefully who's good at what. I kind of agree with that. I really hate having like 14 people come in and all roll perception at the same time unless it's a group check and then we take the highest. You know what I mean? I with 18. Yeah. 19. Discussion of metagame details in-game will result in instant damage to your character. Get over yourself. There's better ways to fix that. 20. Rules lawyering fellow players is encouraged. Actually me will just result in me telling you to fuck off. I think at no point should another player interject on what another player is doing rules-wise, unless they are concerned about it. Some of these rules sound like, I want to ruin your fun if you do this stuff that annoys me. Yeah. You roll your dice within view of 2 players who aren't you standard. You roll them neatly and you roll them on the table. Failing to do these 3 things will autofill whatever roll you did. Arguing that you actually rolled validly when you clearly didn't is an automatic critical fail. Death traps and mechanics are coming to place. If you call instant death traps and mechanics are coming to place. If you call these unfair moving forward, I will laugh at you and tell you to f off and cry some more. Okay, that's a problem statement. I like instant death stuff. I like having stuff that just says, no, you die. Because it's terrifying. Those are terrifying. But just sliding them in randomly is 23. I will not give you random magical items and vendors will not stock them. They're meant to be rare and hard to acquire. Okay, that's fair-ish. Random encounters in the form of random dragons or a strange mysterious road trader or a band of goblin prostitutes isn't gonna happen. Go play Baldur's Gate 3. No. I agree with crab vibrates in the distance. I wonder how crab's been. Haven't seen them in a while. No, absolutely random dragons can happen. It's called Dungeons and Dragons. A dragon can just exist. That is entirely impossible. That's entirely possible, I mean. I don't give a fuck about what Reddit said about X or Y ruling. True, neither do I. I don't give a fuck what Reddit says. Reddit be correcting me of all people. Oh my god. I've had people like, man, I've been playing 5e for 2 years, and let me tell you, I know for a fact that rogue sneak attack doesn't apply on a critical hit, which is not how that works. Any damage tied to attack roll is multiplied by a critical hit. For your information, by the way. Even if it's a separate ability. They had a huge argument with me on Reddit about that. I'm like, I don't give a what Reddit says, okay? If Reddit was reliable, search AI wouldn't be having aneurysms. Just have Goku clean your pasta for you. I don't give a f what Reddit says person responding to Reddit. I'm responding to Twitter, Wiz. Thank you very much. Don't try to pull that shit on me. Don't you even dare. I'm responding to Twitter. And clearly, I care about what Twitter thinks. Sorry, that's what I thought. Love you, Wiz. I actually give less of a about what your mate's D&D group did. True! I don't give a fuck what they did either. I had one player who is a DM of his own, and he kept trying to correct me because he had, okay, so we have a joke about him, and that he wrote 5.5e because he has, and I counted, a 128-page Google Doc that is his personal revisions to D&D 5e. And he kept trying to correct me on rulings based on his 5.5e. Saying anything to me about other players not liking me doing X or Y without them saying it directly to me will result in me kicking you out of the group. Don't use someone else to push your own agenda. I have personal feelings about that. You're not to sit down and have a 2-hour discussion about what Samson and Bandura secondary did 3 weeks ago when you came to play. Take 15-20 minutes I use to set up and review my notes to talk to each other, then sit down and play. That's fine. Shit like, guys, come on, we're not here to have fun, we're here to play D&D. This is serious business. It's rude and dismissive of how much work I put into this. I simply go home if I hear this shit. True, and I would too. Don't make fun of me for trying to actually play the game. Don't order food randomly. We will all eat together at a specific time or not at all. I don't want food all over my things. If you're ordering, you better order for the whole table. That's all I'm gonna say. Should have ate before you got there. No food or drinks near any of my D&D gear. If you wreck something, you can pay for it. I let one person trash my DM screen once, and I never had it replaced by them. In fact, I had that person attempt to gaslight me into believing they didn't wreck my shit at all. I'm not stupid. You're an adult. Accept responsibility. Huh. Someone trashed their DM screen by probably spilling guacamole or soda on it or something. He actually kind of sounds like he isn't having fun hanging out with these people and like this is some obligation. To a point it gets to that, yeah. That's like the origin of the post. It's possibly the origin. Possibly. 32. Arguments between party members outside of roleplay will be resolved by me giving the definite ruling. If you don't like it, fuck off back home. Gee, I wonder why he went on hiatus. I want this friend above my bed. I mean, I'm not your friend whilst we play D&D. Imagine not being people's friends. While you play D&D. Now, okay, here's the thing. I've been a professional dungeon master. I have been paid, I think in total, like $900 to run Dungeons & Dragons. I've been paid like around $900 to do Dungeons & Dragons, and there's a reason why every charity event I run is a D&D one-shot. I know how to play the game. I know how to run the game. I know how to make it exciting. You will never catch me DMing a live stream D&D game. That's a campaign. You'll see me doing one-shots, but you'll never see me do an actual campaign. Let's try for you. Cry some more. What a psychopath. I don't give a f what they did in Critical Role or what that one guy read, so or if you think that's all make-believe and so you can do whatever you want. The world I run works on true rulings and lore I create specifically for it. Yeah. No. Whatever Critical Role. I actually, hot take, I hate Critical Role. Not because of, like, what they've done specifically, or, like, what they, like, do in their game. I hate them because they absolutely f up public D&D games for me. I can't, the Matt Mercer effect absolutely ruined public play for me when I was doing, like, public games and recruiting people through Roll20 or through Reddit or anything. It actually ruined a lot. Because I had so many people just on me because I'm not Matt Mercer. And my response to be would, oh, are you paying me $15,000 a game? Then you can shut the f up. Every single person in this chat is having debuffs applied to their character that should have occurred a long time ago. They were specific to characters. I don't know what that would have been. I don't know what that would have been. If you don't bring your sheet, you don't play. That's why the DM always has the backup sheet. Unironically, like, as a DM, you should have copies of all your players' character sheets if you're playing in person. If you don't bring dice, borrow some. Yeah, as a DM, I probably have extra dice you can borrow. When we play D&D, I'm not your friend. That doesn't mean you treat me like an enemy during the game. It means I'm no longer being nice. No, we're still friends. It might be a fun DM game of fully in character, like I'm trying to ruin your day in some one shot. Might be fun. For who? I have no idea. Probably the audience. It'd probably be more entertaining from an audience's perspective than me. Have my display katana strewn across my lap and never take off my trench coat the entire session. As I sit here, I look the goblin in the eye and say, "You're not long for this world, are you?" And that's when he finally notices that my echo was behind him the entire time. And as a bonus action, I faced up behind him. He sees the after image of my echo take my place, as his head is severed from his body with my 3 attacks. That 15 damage. And all he sees is his head spinning and the image of me behind him. His own blood dripping from my blade. Anyways, 38. Don't try to sleep with the DM for free resurrections. No comment. 38. If you treat me poorly in any way, shape, or form, after or during or before the game due to something that happened in the game, you're out. If you cannot separate game from reality, I think you're a moron, and I have little time to deal with that energy. Wonder where that came from. You will submit your spell lists daily in-game. If you do not give me a spell list each game and day, you will not be allowed to cast a single spell or cantrip in combat. I do not trust you guys to not use this against me. I do ask that prepared casters tell me what spells they're preparing every day. Or tell me if they change. I'm not gonna fault them if they forget to tell me. As long as it's not like, whenever it's convenient, they just happen to forgot to tell me, kind of thing, you know? If you do not mark off spell slots or say something like, I remember what I'm at, as a way to justify it, I will simply fail your spell, deal half your health and damage to you, and say you have no spells to cast for the rest of the day. Wonder where that came from. If you break literally anything, you can buy the replacement that day or not attend till you do so. Probably about the DM screen earlier. If you complain about the choice of music, I fully expect you to bring the whole playlist next session or shut the f up. Yeah, actually, yeah, I kind of agree with that. That one's actually one I kind of agree with. Don't my choice of music, okay? Maybe you don't know what I'm doing. I'm the bard here, not you. 43. Cannot stress enough how little I care about you. I care about how you feel about my rulings from now on. But inappropriate. Oh, and rule 44, I'm never just threatening you, I'm promising you. That's a funny line, because I've used it before. I used to play War Thunder with my friends, and I used to play the bomber planes, and my friend Snackies told me one day, it was like, damn, bud, you're looking pretty vulnerable from up here, as he's zipping around a fucking fighter plane. And I just turn around, and I gun him down with my turrets. He's like, what was that for? I'm like, I don't take idle threats. It was just, it was funny. Okay, so I want to ask your honest opinion. Okay, we went through these early on. Smash or pass these rules? I'm a pass on these rules because I've grown as a DM. I don't need these rules anymore. Some of them I agree with. Some of them I agree with. Not all of them I do. We watched this story, and it was a story evolving from a DM that sounds like he has a bit of an ego to a DM that is completely exhausted. I would be, like, I hope it's a dude who's having a laugh, but if not, what kind of damage has been inflicted that they need to make this manifesto? They deleted the original post of this on Reddit. Like, the original post has been deleted. So a player received these rules, and their first instinct was to post it to r/D&D horror stories. And then that got spread to Twitter, and now everyone on Twitter's having a conversation about it. And nothing has ever gone forever on the internet. Correct. So here's my thing. Some of these rules are rules I've implemented. Some of these rules are rules I thought about implementing, but I was stable enough mentally to not actually do them or say them aloud. But there's very clearly a lot of, like, you know the rule, you know the saying of, like, rules exist for a reason, someone f***ed up somewhere? The portrait of the player group is drunk, high, spilling shit everywhere, sassing the DM at every turn, lying about their character sheets, faking their dice rolls, and overall disrespecting the energy a DM puts into a game. Then why the f are they playing D&D? If I had to guess, this makes their player group seem like fair animals. It does, and I don't blame the DM for this message. Okay, is a DM in the right for posting this? No, I don't think he should have gone ahead and sent this. I think he just should have left the group entirely. Like at any point where I need to make more than 5 like adult rules for the table, I consider the table just done. I give up on the table. I just give up on the table. I've had players fall asleep on me while playing, same. Here's my problem with it, okay? A lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, jumped on this DM's ass about posting these, about like sending these rules to the group, okay? Because of the tone. And that is something I actually wholeheartedly disagree with. I think, yes, you should be able, level-headed, you should be able to discuss your thoughts as a mature adult. But telling someone, no, I disagree with you, just because you're angry. You're in the wrong because you're the one who's upset. Your opinion is invalid because you didn't tell me in the way I wanted to hear it. Are all the takes that I am so tired of reading on Twitter, I am so tired of reading on Reddit, and I'm so tired of people applying in real life. I am absolutely tired of people invalidating feelings of angers. You reacted, you lose, the worst types of people. Exactly. Like, yes, he could have been absolutely more mature of this. I'm not saying this could not have been phrased better, or it could have just not happened at all. But I am saying that to just dismiss all of these concerns because he's angry and upset is probably only more invalidating, and you're taking the side of the players at that point. This list doesn't help with the group issue. It doesn't help with the group issues, but that's also, it's not our problem. This guy was upset, and he wasn't expecting this to get posted to Reddit. A player got this list and immediately ran to Reddit for validation. To say, hey, look how stupid my DM is. That was the source of this post, was a player got these rules, didn't even like talk about it to the DM first, and posted it to Reddit. They wanted the public validation that their DM is in the wrong, which, if we go back to like, what was it? Rule 25? I don't give a two Reddit said about X or Y ruling. It tells me that this player values Reddit more than they value their playgroup. They value the opinion of strangers on the internet more than they value the opinion of those literally sitting at the table with them. So yeah, I'd be f***ing pissed. I'd be fuming. I'd be, like, I would not be threatening physical violence against my players. I wouldn't be trying to punish them in-game for out-of-game actions. I just wouldn't play with them. Hell, I hope to God this DM just didn't play with them, because I guarantee you he's seen it. The only thing more in this list to ignore the actual problems because you can't be mature enough to look at the DM's very valid, evident rage to understand. Yeah, he's completely valid in all of his outbursts. I don't agree with this idea that you must be zen and tranquil all the time, that you're not allowed to be angry at the world, that you're not allowed to have negative emotions. They are part of what make you human. How you control and you express those emotions are very important. But again, this was a guy, and again, someone brought up the odds. This is probably uni, this is probably college, right? If I had to guess, these are probably college kids. They're probably pissed all the time. He's probably taking time out of classes. He's probably taking time out of work or life to then show up and play games with his friends, but his friends get drunk, smash his shit, and then disrespect him. It really looks like a hard-ass old school Possibly. It possibly could be that. In which case, if these are all 40-year-olds, 40 to 30, they shouldn't be getting drunk and smashing people's either. Like, no matter which age group we fall into, all of this behavior is inappropriate. I could see my old roommate, who was my first DM, making a similar list, not gonna lie. Yeah, and here's the thing. Every DM, if you have played this hobby for longer than 5 years, and you've been a DM for those 5 years, I guarantee you are not unfamiliar with this list. You are not a stranger to these concepts. It's not weird that these thoughts were put to paper and expressed. Because we've all had these thoughts. That's also the thing, we don't actually know what kind of situation the DM group and the DM had the rules. Yeah, we don't know the prior context. We can only piecemeal it together. Yeah. And then again, this might be fake. This might be fake and completely made up for fucking Reddit karma, but then again, he deleted the post. So that kind of puts me more leading to this was a real situation that the player got cooked on. My point is, I don't agree that these rules should be implemented, and I don't agree that this DM should have posted all of this. But I also am not going to sit here and chastise him, or her, or them. Because, again, the way this is written, and the rules that are written, make the players sound like a frat house that just keep disrespecting their time, their energy, and their investment into a hobby that can be really used for a lot of personal expression, fun, and group bonding. Surprise! Hold on, guys. I'm gonna hit you with a big surprise here, okay? Did you know... Wrong button. Did you know that the Magical Bard is really big into tabletop RPGs? Were you aware of that? Is that something you could piecemeal together from my personality? I didn't know if y'all knew that. Surprise! I know. Really? Wow, like gasp! I know. I have 17 years into this fucking hobby. I have 17 years into this hobby. This hobby has been part of my life since before middle school. It has shaped who I am today and brought me to you. It brought me to Twitch and to YouTube. By the way, everyone on Twitch, this is now your obligatory moment to say hi, YouTube, if you want to. I would have you clocked as a chess player. I play chess too. Hi, YouTube. Hi, bots. Goodbye, YouTube. Show the hobby some respect. I'm not saying D&D has to be serious business all the time, but especially if you are being mean to the Dungeon Master, you need to respect the Dungeon Master for the amount of effort they put into crafting a world, because you play for 4 to 5 hours a week, they probably spend twice that preparing. If you are a player, or if you're a DM, right? If you are a DM, you need to respect the players because they are trusting you that you have given the adequate amount of time to provide the experience they were hoping for. You cannot just remove their and fuck up their fun because you're mad. Because they have taken time out of their week to be a part of your game, and players, the DM has taken a lot more time out of their week to provide you a game. It is a case of mutual respect that has to be applied at all fucking times. And guess what? I've made these mistakes. I have fucked up. I've either been too mean to a DM, or I have been too mean to my players. It is part of growth. It is part of learning. It is part of being better as a dungeon master and as a player and as a person. That you are going to up and you are going to make mistakes and you're going to upset people and you're going to make enemies and you're going to get embarrassed and it's going to look bad on you. I don't think this player should have ever posted it to Reddit to try to publicly shame his DM. And I'm only talking about it because it's too big now to ignore. Like, my little video on this does not matter. My little rant on it does not matter. It's already out there. So I'm taking the opportunity to tell everyone to respect your human beings. Because that's all this case is. Just respect people for 5 goddamn minutes. Life gets so easier. I know I'm a sarcastic asshole that, you know, makes jokes, and I sometimes at others' expense, but I never do it out of maliciousness. Don't be a dick. Exactly. Or if you're being a dick, at least be funny about it. This isn't funny. This is sad. Anyways, that's my rant. See y'all next time.